You close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Inhale the present moment and exhale any lingering worries. With each breath, feel your body becoming a little heavier, sinking comfortably into the soft surface beneath you. The world around you grows quiet and hazy, and a gentle hush falls over your mind. In this calm silence, a door in your imagination starts to open. In your mind's eye, you see a warm light peeking through that doorway. You step forward without hurry, guided by a quiet curiosity. The light grows softer and more golden as you move closer, wrapping you in a gentle warmth. It feels as though you're drifting down a gentle rabbit hole of relaxation, floating slowly, weightless and safe. There's no rush at all. You notice delicate patterns of light dancing on the periphery of your vision, like reflections of sunlight on water. A pleasant warmth spreads through you, giving a sense that you're entering a place both mysterious and welcoming. As you pass through this threshold of imagination, the golden light blossoms into a scene. Colors and shapes become clearer, forming a dreamlike landscape around you. Soft greens of grass beneath your feet, the mellow blue of an open sky overhead, and perhaps a flash of white just at the edge of your sight. Something or someone darting by, ushering you onward. You don't need to chase it. Instead, you allow your feet to carry you naturally forward. The ground is solid and gentle underfoot, and gravity itself feels kinder here, as if you could almost float with each step. In this tranquil state, you realize you have arrived. The dream world settles into clarity, and you find yourself fully present in it. You gently open your eyes within the dream and discover you are in a curious new land, ready to begin an adventure at a slow, comfortable pace. Welcome to your Wonderland, a place of gentle wonder and calm discovery. You find yourself waking gently, as if closer by, you catch the faint rustle of the grass and the leaves, whispering with each small gust of warm breeze. Your own breathing is steady and calm, blending in with the soft sounds of this curious land. There is a sense of tranquility draped over everything. You don't feel any of the usual urgency of a day beginning. Instead, time seems unhurried. As you sit up gradually, you notice how light your body feels. Any stiffness from before has melted away, replaced by a gentle energy in your limbs. You stretch slowly, your arms reaching up toward the canopy of the tree, your fingers brushing against a sunbeam that filters down between the leaves. The light is pleasantly warm on your skin. Looking around from where you sit, you notice small details emerging from the haze of sleep. The grass around you isn't just green, it's a tapestry of soft moss, clover, and tiny flowers dotted here and there. The flowers are pastel blues and pinks, each one with petals that seem to glow faintly in the sunlight. When you inhale, you can just detect their mild fragrance, a delicate perfume that reminds you of childhood summers and fresh morning dew. You run your fingertips over the ground and feel the texture of the moss, springy and cool, a perfect cushion. Just beside you, propped against the roots of the old tree, is a fallen leaf, nearly the size of a small umbrella. It must have drifted down from the giant tree at some point. Its surface is patterned with swirling shades of purple and gold, far more fanciful than any ordinary leaf you've seen. You smile a little at the discovery, amused and intrigued by even this simple thing. As you rise to your feet, you feel a soft tickle on your ankle. Glancing down, you see a tiny butterfly flitter away. Its wings are translucent with intricate patterns that sparkle briefly as it catches the sun. It flutters off toward a patch of wildflowers, and you follow it with your eyes. In doing so, you finally take in a broader view of where you are. All around, the landscape unfolds in quiet beauty. Gentle hills roll off into the distance, with patches of forest and meadow weaving together. Not far from your tree, you spot a narrow, meandering path, paved with odd-shaped stepping stones that look like cookies or biscuits. They form a little soft breeze picks up, ruffling your hair and carrying the distant scent of something sweet and comforting. Is it cake baking somewhere? Or maybe the aroma of warm tea? The hint of a smile forms on your face as you consider the possibilities. Everything here hints at gentle magic and hospitality, even the air inviting you to explore further. Standing beneath the great tree, you feel a calm readiness. There's no rush, no pressing task ahead, just the quiet invitation of the path and the world beyond, waiting to be discovered at your own pace. You brush off a few bits of grass from your clothes and take one more deep breath of the fragrant air. Now fully awake and grounded in this curious land, you decide it's time to take a better look around. With peaceful anticipation, you prepare to explore the world that surrounds you. Slowly, you begin to wander away from the great tree that sheltered you. The cookie-like stepping stones of the little path beckon, and you place your feet on them one by one. To your surprise, they feel firm and cool like smooth stone, despite their confectionery appearance. A light chuckle escapes you, thinking how even the ground here has a sense of whimsy. With each step, a gentle crunch of gravel mingles with the distant sounds of this land, and you walk on with an easy grace. The path winds through the meadow, and you follow it unhurriedly. On either side, tall grasses sway lightly, punctuated by clusters of flowers in every color. Some blossoms stand as tall as your waist, bobbing their bright heads as if in greeting. You pause by a particularly lovely cluster of pale blue flowers that tinkle softly in the breeze, producing a sound almost like tiny bells. Curious, you lean in and catch the faintest chiming melody. Perhaps this is how flowers sing here. The realization makes you smile, and you nod politely back at the blooms as you pass, feeling as though you've exchanged a pleasant greeting. As you continue, the terrain gently rolls and your view expands. Off to one side, a little brook emerges, flowing toward the path. Its water is crystal clear, glistening under the sun in ribbons of silver and gold. The brook runs parallel for a while, bubbling happily over small pebbles. You step off the path momentarily to approach the water's edge. Kneeling down, you dip your fingers in. The water is cool. It seems to be fiddling with a small object that glints in the sun. You watch in quiet fascination. The white rabbit briefly sits up on its haunches, as if to check the time on a tiny pocket watch. An absurd sight that makes you gently chuckle. After a moment, it scurries off into the taller grass, disappearing from view. You wonder playfully if it's late for something, but the thought drifts by without concern. Here, even a hurried rabbit doesn't stir you to rush. You remain as calm as the brook beside you. Returning to the path, you continue on, crossing the brook where smooth stepping stones are conveniently placed like a natural bridge. Each stone is pleasantly warm from the sun, and you take your time, balancing lightly from one to the next. On the other side, the path leads you into a cozy grove of trees with silvery bark. The canopy above filters the light into a soft, dappled pattern on the ground. The air here is a touch cooler, carrying the fragrance of earth and a hint of spice. Perhaps wild mint or cinnamon ferns hidden in the undergrowth. Venturing deeper among the trees, you notice the sounds of the meadow fade slightly, replaced by a tranquil hush. Only the quiet crunch of your footsteps on a carpet of fallen leaves and the occasional creak of tree branches accompany you now. The atmosphere feels sacred in a light-hearted way, as if this little woods is aware of your presence and is pleased to share its secrets. You spot a deer-like creature peering at you from behind a trunk. Its eyes are large and gentle, and atop its head it wears a crown of flowers intertwined with its antlers. The creature doesn't flee. It merely regards you for a long moment, then dips its head slowly, as though in a subtle bow. You bow in return, heart warmed by the silent exchange of respect, and the creature slips away silently into the shade. A few rays of sunlight break through as you reach a small clearing within the grove. In the center, there stands an old-fashioned lamppost, painted a cheerful blue, with a soft, glowing light inside despite the daylight. It looks like a street lamp that wandered here from some storybook town and decided to take root among the trees. There's a sign on it with arrows pointing in different directions, each arrow labeled with words that you can't quite make out from afar. Intrigued, you realize you've been strolling for a while now, and a pleasant tiredness is building in your legs. The thought of a little break begins to sound appealing. Perhaps a sip of something or a small bite to eat would do well to refresh you for the journey ahead. Glancing around the clearing, you notice a convenient wooden bench curved around the base of the lamppost, as if placed here precisely for travelers in need of rest. You make your way to it, running a hand along its back. It's smooth, clearly well cared for, with carvings of vines and smiling cat faces embellishing its design. Sitting down gratefully, you take a moment to simply be. You listen to your breathing and the quiet hum of the forest grove. Overhead, a friendly little breeze stirs the leaves, which then fall silent again. Reaching into your pocket, did you have a pocket this whole time? In dreams, these details sort themselves out. You half expect to find something useful. Sure enough, you discover a small, simple handkerchief which you can use to wipe a touch of perspiration from your brow. The small act makes you feel a bit more collected and ready to continue. As you sit, you consider your next move. The whimsical signpost suggests multiple possibilities, but none of them urgent. One arrow hints at tea, awakening the thought that perhaps somewhere nearby, something delightful awaits to quench your thirst. Your body and mind feel content, but could use a little replenishment. With that in mind, you decide it's time to tend to these basic comforts before exploring further. With a final appreciative glance at the enchanting grove around you, you rise from the bench, prepared to find a drink or a bite and continue on your unhurried adventure. Refreshed by your brief rest, you rise from the bench with a resolve to take care of a few simple needs. The idea of a warm drink and perhaps a small bite to eat sounds increasingly appealing. A subtle, comforting scent floats through the air, a mix of black tea and toasted sugar, and you can't tell if it's merely your imagination or something real nearby. Either way, you decide to follow it. With unhurried steps, you leave the lamppost clearing, tracing a narrow offshoot of the path that seems to align with the tea arrow's direction. Just beyond a thicket of fern-like bushes, you come upon a charming little scene. In a patch of sunlight, a low tree stump has been fashioned into a tiny round table. Upon it sits a delicate porcelain teapot painted with blue forget-me-nots, a matching teacup, and a small plate covered by a glass dome. You approach the stump table and notice a little card propped against the teapot. In neat cursive script it reads, "For the weary traveler, please enjoy." The thoughtful gesture warns you almost as much as the morning sun. With a grateful smile, you lift the teapot's lid slightly, finding it filled with a fragrant amber liquid. The scent tells you it's a kind of tea, perhaps chamomile blended with honey and a twist of something citrus. Pouring it slowly into the teacup, you relish the delicate trickle sound it makes. The cup itself is delightfully oversized in your hands, as if encouraging you to wrap both palms around it. You take a seat on a smooth mossy rock adjacent to the stump which provides a perfect little perch. Cradling the teacup, you inhale the gentle steam. The smell alone is soothing, floral and sweet. Bringing the cup to your lips, you sip carefully. The tea is warm but not scalding, evidently brewed to just the right temperature. Its taste is exquisite. A light sweetness dances on your tongue, underlined by calming herbal notes. With each sip, you feel a comforting warmth spread within your chest, as if the tea is easing you into the day from the inside out. As you drink, you take in the surroundings. Sunlight filters through the leaves above, creating shifting patterns on the ground. A few curious birds twitter softly from a distance, as if respectful of the quiet moment. You notice one boldly colored bird perched on a branch, watching you intently, head cocked to one side. It gives a single friendly chirp, as though to say, "Good morning," and then flits away. You raise your cup in a tiny salute to the departing bird, amused at how even the wildlife seems to acknowledge this peaceful ritual. After a few slow sips, you feel pleasantly awakened and nourished. There's still half a cup of tea left, so you savor it, letting your mind wander gently. Perhaps you think of home for a moment, comparing this serene outdoor tea time to your usual mornings. There's no clatter of alarm clocks here, no rush out the door, just the patient rhythm of your own contentment. Any distant concerns have receded far beyond the horizon of this dream. Right now, you exist solely in this gentle moment, one sip at a time. Once you finish the tea, you set the cup back onto its saucer with a soft clink. Lifting the glass dome on the plate, you discover a single small cake beneath it. It's beautifully decorated with a swirl of cream and a cherry on top. Tucked next to the cake looks tempting, but you're not particularly hungry just yet after the satisfying tea. Instead, you decide to save it for later when you might need it. The cake is conveniently wrapped in a fine paper lace doily, making it easy to carry. You gently pick it up and tuck it into a pocket or a fold of your clothing, handling it with care so as not to squish the lovely icing. It's reassuring to have a little snack saved for the road ahead. Who knows, it might come in handy. Before departing, you take a moment to appreciate the thoughtful setup once more. In lieu of a person to thank, you simply feel a sense of gratitude welling up. The kindness woven into this place, be it magic or the work of some unseen friend, makes you feel welcomed and cared for. You pour a final splash of tea into the cup and leave it there, assuming perhaps that whoever set this out will know you enjoyed it. Feeling revitalized and light, you stand up from the mossy rock. A comfortable contentment settles in your body. You stretch once more, rolling your shoulders and tilting your face up to the sky. The day is still young, and you've already experienced such gentle wonders. With your thirst quenched and a treat saved for later, you turn back toward the main path, ready to continue your leisurely adventure. Walking back through the ferns to the clearing with the lamppost, you notice the sunlight has shifted just a little, the day progressing at its unhurried pace. You retrace your steps to the whimsical signpost, which seems to wink at you in the dappled light. From here, the path onward leads you out of the grove and toward whatever lies ahead. You take it, stepping forward with no agenda beyond simple exploration. It isn't long before something new draws your attention. Just up ahead, at the end of the grove, you spot a curious little door set into what looks like a hedgerow, or maybe the base of a large tree. From where you stand, it appears no more than knee-high. It's painted a cheerful red, and has a brass knob that gleams invitingly. You approach it slowly, intrigued. What could be waiting behind such a tiny door? Standing before the knee-high door, you tilt your head in fascination. It's set snugly into a hedge of velvety green leaves, like the entrance to a secret hideaway. Gently, you kneel down to inspect it. The red paint on the door's surface is glossy and well kept, as if regularly cared for, despite its hidden location. You run a finger along the tiny brass knob, which shines as though polished recently. For a moment, you simply admire the craftsmanship. It's a perfect little door, just far too small for you to enter as you are. You try the knob gently. It turns with a satisfying click, and the door itself jiggles, but it won't open outward. It seems it does open, but perhaps it swings inward and is currently held shut by its diminutive frame, pressed against the earth on the other side. Peering through the keyhole, more out of curiosity than necessity, you see a sliver of bright color beyond. There's a sunlit space and what looks like vibrant flowers swaying. This must be the entrance to that lovely area you glimpsed earlier through the trees. A beautiful garden, perhaps, waiting on the other side of the hedge. Clearly, this door is meant for someone much smaller than you. You could try to pry it or dig around it, but something tells you there's a more elegant solution. After all, everything in this world so far has gently guided you rather than presenting dead ends. You lean back from the door and let your eyes wander around the base of the hedge, searching for clues. Sure enough, tucked into the grass to the right of the door, you notice a tiny glass vial glinting in the light. It's half hidden behind a clump of clover, as if intentionally placed, but not immediately obvious. You pick it up carefully between your fingers. The vial is charming, like a miniature bottle one might find in an old apothecary. It's filled with a shimmering rose gold liquid that catches the light in dancing sparkles. Around its neck is a little tag tied with twine. You bring it closer to read the label, smiling as you do. In neat black letters on that tag is the now familiar phrase, "Drink me." The sense of storybook déjà vu is not lost on you, and you let out a soft laugh. So this is the answer. How fortunate that you saved that little cake. The pieces of the puzzle click neatly into place in your mind. Holding the tiny vial, you take a moment to steel yourself for whatever may come, though you suspect at this point that nothing here intends you harm. The liquid inside looks inviting, like a syrupy fruit nectar. You uncork the vial. It emits a delicate fragrance reminiscent of strawberries and vanilla. With a quiet toast to no one in particular, you bring the vial to your lips and take a small sip. The taste is pleasantly sweet, like ripe berries, with a hint of the grass around you grows taller, and the door's knob ascends from your eye level to above your head. The world is enlarging all around as you carefully shrink down, and yet you feel oddly at ease. You sit down on the ground as a precaution, recalling that it might be wise not to topple over during this transformation. The moss beneath you now feels thicker, its texture like a deep, plush carpet. You run your hand over it, and the individual moss fronds tickle your palm, now that your palm is so much smaller. Within a minute or two, the tingling subsides. You stand up and realize you're no taller than the mushrooms you saw earlier, perhaps a foot high, maybe a bit more. The once knee-high door now looms above you, roughly the size of a gate might be to your normal self. You notice that even the bottle in your hand shrank along with you, now about the size of a thimble. Relieved that your belongings and the cake in your pocket transformed as well, you step forward to the door again. This time, the brass knob is at shoulder height. You turn it and easily push the door inward. It swings open with a soft creak, revealing a narrow passage through the thick hedge. Beyond the threshold is indeed a splendid garden, exactly as colorful as that little keyhole glimpse promised. A breath of fresh, floral-scented air greets you from the other side, beckoning you in. You step through the small doorway, feeling the cool leaves of the hedge brush gently against your arms. For a moment, you stand there, at miniature size in this new place, eyes wide at the sight. Even from down here, near the ground, the garden is breathtaking. Towering flowers with petals like silken flags wave slowly above. Manicured grass slopes gently, each blade like a tall tree compared to your current stature. In the distance, you see quaint pathways winding between rose bushes and patches of sunflowers. Everything is peaceful and still, save for a soft buzz of a friendly bumblebee drifting by, a giant, lazy zeppelin to your tiny eyes. As enchanting as this perspective is, you recall that you have a way to restore yourself, and it's probably wise to do so before wandering too far. Reaching into your pocket, which thankfully keeps its contents through these magical changes, you retrieve the little cake bundled in its lace paper. It too is now proportional to your, or rather, you are rising up. The blades of grass shrink back down to normal proportion, and the flowers' towering heights recede to their usual friendly scale. In a smooth, unhurried ascent, you grow back to your familiar height. The transition is so gentle that you hardly realize it's complete until you find yourself standing at full size in the middle of the garden path. You brush the last few crumbs of the cake from your hands and clothing. Looking back over your shoulder, you see the little door in the hedge behind you. It now appears truly tiny from your current perspective, hidden almost completely by foliage. You quietly congratulate yourself on navigating this small challenge with patience and cleverness. A simple sip and a bite were all it took. And now here you are on the other side, free to roam this secret garden. The garden awaits your exploration. You feel a flutter of excitement at the prospect, but it is a calm excitement, the kind that blends with contentment. As you begin to stroll further in, the little red door eases itself closed behind you, perhaps helped by a passing breeze, as if politely saying, "Good job," and "Carry on." You smile at the thought. One gentle obstacle overcome, and a new beautiful space to discover. Stepping further into the garden, you feel as though you've entered a living painting of color and light. The garden path is made of neatly trimmed grass, soft under your feet, like a plush carpet. On either side, beds of extravagant flowers sway gently, their blooms wide open to the warm, late morning sun. You walk slowly, almost on tiptoe out of instinct, careful not to disturb the tranquility that drapes this place. Each flower seems to have its own personality. You pass by a cluster of tall daisies with faces like bright suns. Their white petals tremble ever so slightly, as if whispering secrets to one another. When you lean in to admire them, a few tilt in your direction. One daisy brushes your shoulder lightly, as though giving a tiny greeting, or perhaps a playful nudge. You chuckle softly and greet them in return, a quiet "hello there" that feels more like a thought than spoken words. These plants are alive not just in biology, but in spirit, each politely interacting with you in their own subtle manner. As you continue down the path, you notice an ancient oak tree to one side of the garden, its branches spreading wide and casting a pleasant shade over a corner of the lawn. Up on one of the lowest boughs, there is a curious sight. A large striped cat lies lounging lazily, as if sunbathing in the mottled light. Its fur is marked in bands of purple and pink, or is it blue and gray? The colors seem to shift with the shadows. You recognize at once the mischievous grin stretching across its face. Those gleaming eyes are watching you with a merry interest. You offer a friendly wave to the Cheshire cat, remembering tales of its playful nature. The cat responds with a slow, theatrical blink, and then a wide smile that somehow grows even wider. It lifts a paw ever so slightly, almost like a return wave, or perhaps just a leisurely stretch. It's hard to tell. You blink, and in that barely a second, the cat's body begins to fade. Starting at the tip of its tail, the stripes and fur evaporate into the air as though made of vapor. The disappearance travels along its form until only the floating grin remains hanging in midair, a crescent of amusement lingering among the oak leaves. A moment later, that too gently dissipates with a soft chuckle that might have been real or imagined. You find yourself grinning as well, shaking your head in fond bewilderment. Even the absurdity here is polite and charming. Nothing has startled or alarmed you. It's all simply part of the whimsical atmosphere. Carrying on, you venture toward a quieter corner of the garden where wildflowers intermingle with neatly kept ones. There's a marble bird bath here, the water within it shimmering. A couple of little sparrows hop at the edge, splashing and chirping contentedly as they take their bath. They pause when they notice you, but only for an instant. Sensing no danger, they fluff their feathers and continue their playful water dance. One sparrow flicks a few droplets in your direction, and a cool mist kisses your skin. You laugh softly, the sound of your voice mixing with the bird's gentle chirruping. It's as if you've been accepted as part of this natural scene. another gentle creature under the same sun. Near the bird bath, atop a smooth mushroom cap that is bluish in hue, you spot a plump blue caterpillar. It's puffing serenely on a long hookah pipe, from which curls of pale smoke rise and form whimsical shapes in the air. As you draw closer, you notice the smoke briefly twist into what looks like a cursive question mark before dispersing. The caterpillar regards you with a calm, almost knowing look, but says nothing. You aren't entirely sure, but you feel no pressure to solve anything. Instead, you smile and offer a polite nod to the meditative creature. In response, it raises one fuzzy blue appendage slightly. A gesture that might be a greeting or just an idle motion as it adjusts its hookah. The silence shared with the caterpillar feels oddly meaningful. Even without words, you sense a gentle exchange, a question unasked and an answer unspoken. "Who are you?" the curl of smoke seemed to whisper. And in the comfortable pause that follows, you feel the answer inside yourself. You are simply a peaceful traveler in this world, a friend to the flowers and the trees, no more and no less. The caterpillar gives a slow blink, as if satisfied, and returns to its contemplative smoking. Wisps of sweet-smelling smoke. Is that a hint of vanilla and spice? Waft around you as you depart, leaving the blue philosopher to its reverie. Every step you take in this garden is like part of a slow dance with your surroundings. You have conversations without words, play without harsh movement, and learn without lessons. A gentle breeze picks up, stirring the wind chimes of foxglove flowers and carrying the mingled perfumes of blooms. Overhead, the sky remains a friendly shade of blue with a few puffy clouds lazily drifting by. Immersed in this whimsical harmony, you feel deeply connected to everything around you. After wandering along the looping paths, you eventually arrive at a quaint wrought iron gate on the far side of the garden. It stands slightly ajar, leading out to another area beyond the confines of this enchanted sanctuary. You've thoroughly enjoyed the garden's gentle company and its inhabitants, feeling refreshed and welcomed by every encounter. With a grateful heart, you gently push the gate open a bit wider. It creaks softly, a courteous, old-fashioned sound, and you step through, ready to discover what other wonders lie ahead in this ever-unfolding journey. Passing through the little garden gate, you emerge into a sunlit meadow that stretches out lazily before you. The path continues here as a narrow ribbon through the tall summer grass. By now, the sun hangs high overhead. All signs suggest that this is the time when Wonderland, just like any world, settles down for a little rest. In the middle of the meadow stands a solitary willow tree, its long fronds of leaves swaying gently, even in the faint breeze. The sight is inviting, a perfect spot to pause and enjoy this peaceful moment. You make your way off the path toward it, wading through grass that reaches your knees and tickles your palms as you pass. Under the willow's canopy, the light turns a dappled green and gold, dancing on the ground in ever-shifting patterns. You sit down with your back against the tree's graceful trunk. The bark is warm and surprisingly comfortable, conforming to you as though it's glad you've chosen this place to rest. Leaning your head back, you let your eyes wander upward through the lattice of leaves. High above, the sky is a brilliant blue, and a few clouds idle across it. They move so slowly that watching them feels akin to listening to a lullaby. One cloud in particular catches your attention. Its shape uncannily resembles a teapot. You smile at that, amused at how even the sky here nods to the whimsical. As it drifts, the teapot cloud elongates and morphs, perhaps into a plump sleeping cat, then into a gentle swirl of cream in an unseen cup, and eventually into something formless once more. The next cloud looks a bit like a rabbit with two long ears. It lazily hops across the sky, or so it appears to your imagination, perhaps chasing after the teapot shape. The imagery is subtle and playful, and you allow your mind to meander with it, crafting little stories for the clouds as one might do on a dreamy afternoon. Your breathing naturally deepens and slows while you relax under the willow. The air is filled with that special quiet of midday, a pause between morning and evening, where time feels wonderfully stretched out. In the distance, you think you hear a faint chiming of a clock tower or bell, counting out the hour with gentle dings. It's hard to tell if it's a real sound or just something your mind conjured. But either way, it seems to be announcing noon. The world doesn't react dramatically. There's no rush of activity triggered by the hour, no bustle. It's simply acknowledged, and then the silence resumes its comfortable reign. As you sit, you become aware of your own contented fatigue. The adventures of the morning, the journey, you decide to give in to the temptation of a short nap, or at least a gentle half-sleep. You slide down a little lower against the trunk until you find the perfect cozy spot. The willow's curtain of leaves seems to cradle you, swaying ever so lightly as if to fan the air. You close your eyes, and the reddish glow of sunlight through your eyelids is calming. With your eyes shut, your other senses take the forefront. The smell of sweet grass and a hint of wildflowers. The sound of a distant brook trickling at the meadow's edge. The occasional buzz of a passing dragonfly. Even the ground has its own warmth that seeps up to relax your muscles one by one. In this lulling environment, you drift between wakefulness and sleep. Thoughts float by slowly. Perhaps you recall the smiling cat, or the friendly flowers, or wonder what the white rabbit might be doing at this very moment. Maybe he's realized there's really no need to hurry here after all, and is enjoying a cup of tea under a mushroom umbrella, watch put aside for now. The whimsical image makes your lips curl into a faint grin. Time loses meaning as you rest. It could be minutes or hours that you remain in this tranquil reprieve. There is only the present, the soft rustle of willow leaves, the rise and fall of your chest, and the sense that all of Wonderland has paused with you. No demands, no expectations, just a shared quiet. Eventually, you blink your eyes open softly. You're not sure if you fully fell asleep or simply meditated in a pleasant haze. But either way, you feel rejuvenated. The sunlight has shifted a little, indicating that midday is gently tipping toward afternoon. The quality of light is a touch more golden now, and shadows of the tree leaves have inched slightly to one side. You take a final moment to fully reawaken your limbs, rolling your shoulders and flexing your fingers. A comfortable warmth lingers in your body from the nap, as does a sense of harmony with the world around you. It's as if you and the day breathed together for a while, perfectly in sync. As you continue down the path, the subtle signals of change in the air become more pronounced. The once bright blue sky is now dotted with clusters of gray and silver clouds gathering in from the horizon. The golden light of late afternoon softens to a muted glow. You feel a cooler breeze brush against your face, a refreshing change after the heavy stillness of midday. The shift in weather carries a new mood, not unpleasant at all, just different. It's as if the world is gently clearing its throat, preparing for a quiet afternoon shower. A few fat droplets of rain begin to fall sporadically at first. One lands on your forearm, cool and surprising, leaving a dark circle on your sleeve. Another plops onto a broad leaf by the path, rolling off the edge and onto the ground with a tiny splash. You instinctively pull up the collar of your clothing and look around for shelter, though there's no panic in your search. At a short distance, you spot a cluster of enormous toadstools near an old stump, their caps broad and flat, painted in tones of umber and rust. They look like nature's own umbrellas. Quickening your pace slightly, with a bit of playful hop between raindrops, you make your way to them. Just as the rain begins to patter in earnest, you find refuge beneath the largest mushroom. It's tall enough for you to sit under comfortably, and you settle onto the dry patch of grass at its base. The mushroom's cap extends wide, shielding you from the little silver streams now coming down. You draw your knees up and wrap your arms around them, huddling cozier under this impromptu shelter. The raindrops come faster, and soon a steady shower is tap dancing on the world. The sound is a soothing symphony of taps and patters. You listen as the rain drums gently on the mushroom cap above you, a hollow melodic pattering that almost sounds like fingers drumming on a wooden table. The grass and leaves all around hiss softly under the sprinkle, and puddles begin to form in little dips along the path, each coming to life with rings of ripples. A rich, earthy scent rises up, petrichor, the sweet perfume of rain on dry soil. You breathe it in deeply, finding it as invigorating as it is calming. Under the mushroom, you're snug and mesmerized by the change in scenery. The meadow that was bright with sunshine minutes ago is now misty and dappled with raindrops. Distant hills fade into a gentle haze, and the entire landscape takes on a silvery green hue. You notice a few small creatures also taking cover. A pair of ladybugs cling to the underside of a nearby leaf. Not far from your feet, a small hedgehog is curled up under the shelter of another mushroom, waiting out the rain in spiky patience. You exchange a quiet glance with the hedgehog. Its little black eyes blink as a droplet rolls off its nose. You smile, feeling a kinship in the... As you sit quietly, you become aware of how the rain affects everything around you. The temperature has cooled noticeably. The earlier warmth is replaced by a gentle chill that prickles your skin pleasantly. You rub your hands together for a bit of warmth and notice how vivid the colors have become in the damp. The greens of the grass and leaves are deeper, each blade and vein glistening. Wildflowers along the path bow under the weight of water, their petals sticking together in technicolor intensity. Reds redder, blues more profound. It's as if the world has been washed clean of any dust, leaving only fresh, bright hues behind. After some minutes, the downpour begins to ease. The once insistent drumming on your mushroom umbrella softens into a sporadic sprinkle, and sunlight hesitantly peeks through a break in the clouds. You lean forward to watch the rain clouds drift slowly past, making way for patches of clear sky. The shower has been brief, and now a renewed brightness filters through the thinning clouds, casting a gentle glow over the meadow. One by one, raindrops give way to sunbeams. You step out from under the mushroom, straightening up to feel the open air again. The scene that greets you is breathtaking in its calm. A fine mist rises from the warm ground, creating a dreamy fog that hugs the earth in low pockets. Each lingering droplet on the grass tips and leaves catches the returning sunlight, sparkling like a field of tiny crystals. In the distance, you notice a faint arc of colors forming, a rainbow, delicate and pastel, bridging the sky. It's half hidden behind the clouds, but unmistakably there, a quiet celebration of the rain's passing. A renewed chorus of life begins to stir around you. Birds venture out and add a few tentative chirps that soon grow into melodious calls, as if singing a thankful song for the sun's return. A rabbit, perhaps not the white rabbit, but a wild brown one, hops across the path, leaving little wet footprints, and pauses to nibble on the rain-kissed clover, utterly unbothered by your presence. The hedgehog uncurls and sniffs the refreshed air, then trundles away into the grass on its tiny feet, likely off to resume whatever it was doing before the skies opened up. You take a slow walk back toward the path, your feet squelching slightly in the damp earth. The air feels different now, cooler, cleaner, and carrying a new kind of energy. You tilt your head up to the sky. The world around you, rejuvenated by the rain, seems to shine with clarity. In the calm after the storm, you sense a peaceful introspection welling up, an urge to ponder the journey so far and how you feel in this very moment. With the weather's whimsical performance behind you, you continue onward, the ground soft beneath your feet, and your mind quietly attuned to the changes within and without. The path, now glistening from the recent rain, leads you onward through the gentle afternoon. Each step you take feels deliberate and light. The earth is soft beneath your feet, and occasionally you catch your mirrored silhouette in a lingering puddle. You notice how relaxed your posture has become, shoulders loose, arms swinging gently at your sides. There's a comfortable ache in your legs, the kind that reminds you of a day well spent in motion. Physically, you feel good, peacefully tired in the best way, yet energized by the fresh air and the constant, mild activity. As you walk, your mind begins to wander as freely as your feet. In the calm after the rain, thoughts rise up with clarity, like the sharp scent of petrichor rising from the soil. You find yourself reflecting on the journey so far, not in a hurried review, but slowly, as one savors the taste of a sweet memory. Images float by: the ancient tree where you awoke, the friendly nod of the deer in the grove, the playful grin of the Cheshire cat, the soothing aroma of the tea, and the feeling of raindrops on your skin. Each recollection comes with its own emotion: curiosity, amusement, comfort, awe. And you take the time to feel each one again, gently, without rush. You realize that, remarkably, you haven't felt a trace of worry or stress since arriving in this land. The usual anxieties or stray concerns that might flit through your mind back home seem to have quietly evaporated. In their place is a simple, content awareness of the present. Perhaps it's the effect of this whimsical world, or perhaps, but here, none of those definitions seem to matter. In Wonderland's embrace, you are simply you, an adventurer, a respectful guest, a friend to whimsical creatures, a quiet observer, and an appreciative participant in the unfolding moments. This realization settles warmly in your chest. It feels liberating to strip away any titles and expectations and find that what's left is someone content, kind, and curious. Physically, you take stock of yourself as well. Your clothes are a bit damp at the hems from the rain, and there's a smear of earth on your calf from kneeling under the mushroom. You gently rub it off with a finger, noting how little it bothers you to be a touch muddy. In fact, it feels rather grounding, a small badge of the afternoon's adventure. Your breathing is steady and full. You notice the pleasant rise and fall of your belly and chest with each breath, a reminder that you are alive and present. A mild hunger stirs in your stomach, suggesting that it has been some time since that morning tea and tiny cake. The feeling is not urgent or uncomfortable. It's just enough to make you anticipate the next opportunity to eat with a sense of gentle excitement. Will the next meal be as whimsical as the tea time was? The thought makes you smile. As the sun slants lower in the sky, the colors around you deepen in hue. The leaves seem a richer green against the now clearer pale blue sky. Golden light catches on the lingering droplets on the foliage, causing little glints that could be fairies flitting about for all you know. The beauty of it all makes you contemplative. You wonder if the world has always held such quiet magic, and if you simply needed to slow down to see it. Even outside of this fantastical realm, perhaps there are daisies that whisper, breezes that carry hidden laughter, and clouds that play shapes, subtle joys that often get overlooked in the rush of everyday life. This journey feels like a gentle lesson in noticing, in appreciating the small wonders. Walking along, you come to a gentle rise in the landscape. At the top of a small hillock, you pause and turn slowly in a circle, taking in a panoramic view of Wonderland's late afternoon splendor. Behind you lies the path you've traveled. You can make out the distant silhouette of the willow tree where you napped, and farther still, maybe the faint glimmer of the garden's gate. The sight gives you a quiet sense of accomplishment and gratitude. Ahead of you, the path winds on toward what looks like a quaint village or town in the distance, now visible as the day's light mellows. You take a moment on that hilltop to simply be still. How different you feel now compared to when you first woke up in this dreamlike adventure. There's a profound ease in your body and spirit. Perhaps the enchantment of this place is not only in the talking creatures or magical transformations, but in the way it gently coaxes you back to yourself. A soft breeze ruffles your hair and you close your eyes, feeling a well of contentment fill you. In this peaceful introspection, you silently thank yourself for embarking on this journey, and thank the world around you for guiding you so kindly through it. When you open your eyes again, you notice the sky ahead is beginning to tint with the early hints of evening. A slight blush of pink and orange at the edge of the horizon. The day is moving forward, and with it, so will you. But you carry on with a calmer mind and a lighter heart. With a final deep breath, you proceed down the hill toward the distant outlines of that village, feeling balanced and whole, ready for whatever dusk will bring. Descending the gentle slope toward the village, you observe a charming scene unfolding in the amber glow of late day. The village is modest in size, a cluster of quaint cottages and shops arranged around a little central square. Each building is unique, painted in cheerful pastels or earthy tones, with roofs of thatch or shingle that curve and swoop in slightly whimsical ways. Smoke curls lazily from a few chimneys, and the air carries welcoming hints of supper. A whiff of baked bread here, a trace of spiced soup there. After the solitude of the open meadows, the soft bustle of village life feels warm and inviting. As you step onto the main lane, a path of flat stones that look like oversized biscuits set into the earth, a few of the villagers notice your arrival. There's no alarm or suspicion in their faces. Instead, you see gentle curiosity and kindness. A fox in a tailored waistcoat pauses by a shop window and tips his hat to you with a polite smile. Two plump women, or are they large hens in dresses, carrying baskets of produce, waddle by, and one gives you a slow nod in greeting, as if you're a familiar neighbor. You nod back respectfully, feeling instantly accepted despite being a stranger. It occurs to you that perhaps in a place as magical as a tall rabbit couple wearing matching checkered vests stand hand in hand, listening as a bespectacled tortoise slowly pours tea from a thermos into tiny porcelain cups and distributes them. It might be an evening custom here, a small shared cup of tea in the square before nightfall. Without thinking, you find yourself pausing at the edge of the group and gently lifting your hand in a similar motion as if joining their wordless toast. The act feels natural and bonding even without an actual cup in your hand. Nobody seems surprised or perturbed by your quiet participation. In fact, the tortoise pouring the tea catches your eye and gives a slow, approving blink, a gesture of welcome. He produces another delicate cup from his satchel and fills it, then shuffles over to press it into your hands with a friendly pat. The tea is fragrant and spiced, perhaps a kind of mild chai, and you cradle the warm cup gratefully. The small group smiles at you and raises their own cups again gently, as if to officially include you in their little ritual. You sip the brew. It's delicious, with notes of cinnamon and orange, and it spreads warmth through your chest. As dusk settles, the villagers move about with a shared purpose that seems almost ceremonial. Just as the sun dips below the rooftops, casting long, rosy shadows, lamps and lanterns are being lit all around. You watch as a badger in overalls pads down the lane, lighting old-fashioned street lamps one by one with a long taper. Each lamp flickers to life, adding a new sphere of golden light to the gathering twilight. In the windows of the cottages, families ignite their home lanterns and candles. Some use regular flame, while others seem to uncork glass jars, releasing clusters of fireflies that twinkle as they disperse, illuminating doorways and porches in a softly blinking glow. The whole village gradually transforms into a canvas of cozy lights, as if 100 gentle stars decided to alight here at ground level. A sense of community reverence accompanies this lighting hour. It's quiet, save for the occasional murmur or the creak of a lantern hook. You notice villagers pausing in their tasks to admire the sky's changing colors, or to give a neighbor a warm touch on the shoulder before heading inside. It feels almost spiritual, this shared acknowledgement of day turning to night. No bells toll and no formal announcement is made, yet everyone seems to know just when to transition from the day's activities to the evening's rest. A few townsfolk are seated at rustic wooden tables, quietly enjoying their evening meals. The atmosphere is calm and familial. The clink of spoon against bowl and the soft crackle of a hearth in the corner provide a gentle soundtrack. The mouse-eared innkeeper, for so she seems, brings you a bowl of steaming vegetable stew and a thick slice of crusty bread without a single word, only a kindly smile and a slight bow of her head. You offer sincere thanks, which she seems to understand from your appreciative expression and tone. Settling at an empty table, you savor the simple meal. The stew is flavorful and nourishing, filled with tender root vegetables and herbs that remind you of Thanksgiving dinners and cozy kitchens. As you eat, a pudgy tabby cat in suspenders shuffles by with a lantern to place on your table, seeing that you're new here. He gives you a friendly wink before returning to his sweeping of the hearth, making sure the room is tidy for the night. While you dine, you observe the quiet interactions around you. A pair of young children, one might be a little badger, the other perhaps a human child with rabbit ears, play a slow, gentle game of tag between the tables, giggling softly as their elders keep a fond eye on them. Two elderly men, or rather, one is a stork in a knit sweater and the other a portly dwarf, sit by the fire, sharing a pipe, not exchanging any words that you can hear, just content in each other's peaceful company. In one corner, a short stack of playing cards is animatedly moving of its own accord, reordering and shuffling itself, perhaps a board deck getting some exercise. A few villagers glance at it and chuckle quietly, as if this is a common, endearing sight. Through these small glimpses, you sense the values of this peculiar society: companionship, quiet joy, acceptance of each other's quirks, and a gentle harmony with the world around them. There is no rush here, no strict schedule being enforced, yet everything falls into an easy rhythm. Tea in the square, lights at dusk, supper shared in calm reverence. It's a way of life both strange and strangely familiar, as if echoing the best of any tight-knit village, but sprinkled with Wonderland's magic and eccentricity. With your bowl now empty and heart full, you lean back in your chair and let out a satisfied sigh. A content tiredness is settling into your bones, the kind that comes after a good meal and a long, fulfilling day. The innkeeper catches your eye from across the room and gestures with a gentle hand, silently asking if you'd like a place to sleep for the night. Gratefully, you nod. She guides you up a little staircase at the back, which creaks pleasantly with each step, and shows you to a small, tidy room. You thank her softly, and she departs with a last warm smile, leaving a tiny clay oil lamp on the bedside table, casting a gentle amber glow. Before you retire for the night, you step to the window for a moment. Outside, the village is quieting down. Through the open window comes the faint chorus of crickets and the last hushed voices of neighbors bidding goodnight. Above, the first stars prick the indigo sky. The scene is one of pure tranquility. In this village, in this world, the night is welcomed like an old friend. As you prepare to rest, you feel a deep appreciation for the society you've glimpsed. Its strangeness only makes it more beautiful. Proof that people and creatures can live in easy harmony, embracing the whimsical and the quiet alike. You slip off your shoes and ease yourself onto the bed. The mattress is soft, and the linens carry the faint scent of lavender and fireplace wood. The day's adventures have woven themselves into a rich tapestry of experiences in your mind. And as you lay your head on the pillow, you know that the impressions of this peculiar, gentle society will stay with you, comforting and inspiring you long after you leave.